There is a pirate game I once fell in love with, but soon started to hate. The game is called Atlas. It all started around a year ago when I was playing VRChat, and at that time I was trying to be a pirate. I was always joining a world where there was a pirate ship. And one time I asked a friend in VRChat if he doesn't know a game that is about pirates. And this is how the story began. He introduced me to Atlas. I didn't have much hope in it at that time, because to me, no matter what game I have touched, they were all bad. But I gave it a try anyways, because I was so much into pirates that I had to try it out. So I installed the video game. When I landed in the menu, I was a little blown away by the music, but I was still skeptical because I thought a great soundtrack doesn't necessarily mean a good game. So I joined the multiplayer and I landed in the character creation menu. That got me excited. I could create my own character, and it had to be a male, and he had to be pretty. After that, I finally joined the game world. I was in it. The first thing I remember was I was trying to find friends. I was at a little harbor where everyone starts at the beginning. And you're supposed to buy a ship with materials. So I gathered the materials. I bought a little boat that I could afford at that time, which wasn't much because you gather quite fast. And I hit the ocean. I was really excited. I was finally a pirate. And I felt like one. Anyhow, the trip on the boat was an exciting one because I've never sailed in a video game. I drove from island to island until I finally found a place to settle down. It was a beautiful island. It had plants, some animals, and there were friendly people. I then made my first house. My neighbors were helping me out with materials, and I didn't have to feel alone anymore. However, one day they just didn't come online anymore, and I was getting pushed away from enemies. So I moved to another island and I made a new friend. We built a big base in a rock. It was well hidden, and we just flourished. We got rich and rich, and we built bigger ships. It was real fun. Every day I woke up to jump onto my PC and play that game and be immersed in this pirate world. This game gave me a sense of achievement, and thus my life wasn't that meaningless anymore and depressing. The game was exactly what I needed at that time. A time where I was really down. But after a while, I started noticing more and more bugs. And they weren't just little bugs. Some of them were game-breaking bugs. I also realized more and more how off the balance was. There were weapons that were so powerful that it didn't make sense to pick any other weapon. And some weapons were so weak that nobody used them. The land fight was very clunky, and the sea fights didn't make any sense because of the way the ships were built and how overpowered some weapons were. On top of all of that, the game was riddled with exploits that were mostly abused by clans, huge clans. These clans were so powerful and could exploit the game to such a high level that it was pointless for any smaller group to even try to compete with them. These mega clans were pushing away everyone from the islands, and there were nowhere to go for me. You could just hide somewhere and hope to survive for a couple days. I tried to reach out to the developers via email and on their forum, but all my requests were ignored. That got me more and more frustrated. The developers kept pushing out new updates that broke the game more and more, while not fixing already established bugs. And despite knowing all of that, I kept playing because I just didn't know any better. There were no other pirate games that could compete with Atlas. Any other pirate game I knew of was even worse. So at this point it didn't make any sense to continue playing this game anymore. And I finally quit. That's it. I just left. And with that, my time as a gamer stopped as well. I just didn't want to touch any game anymore, because they all suffer tremendously from bugs, exploits, cheats and whatnot. It's just a hopeless battle. You're forcing yourself to continue playing those games, even though you know how bad they are. Yeah, that was it for me. Nowadays, I don't play any video games anymore. I have learned from that last experience that it just doesn't make any sense trying to persist and trying to convince the developers to fix their games. These developers, they just don't care about their games. Especially nowadays. I hope you learn from my experience, and I hope we'll see each other in the next video. See ya!